What's going on YouTube? So it's been a long time coming, but we are now standing next to the refreshed 2022 Chevy Silverado. So as you may know, Chevy did release 2022s earlier in the year, but those were secretly the last generation in disguise. But this one here is the refresh model, as you can tell, with this new grille, and today we have the custom Trail Boss trim level. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into this review and see what's new with this refreshed Silverado. Alright, so let's get started here with the exterior design, which of course, here in the front is the most obvious place where Chevy has made some changes. So like I mentioned, this is the custom Trail Boss, and that does mean it's a lower end model, but since it has the Trail Boss material on it, it does have a really tough and mean look. So up here in the front, we do have a revised fascia. Just like with the pre-refresh though, these lower end trim levels do come with the Chevrolet spelled out across the front instead of that traditional bow tie. It does give it a different look from the other trim levels. And as you can see, this is all going to be finished in a matte black all throughout, except for your Z71 branding that's located right there. Now, as we come down from that though, with the custom Trail Boss, you are going to get the high gloss lower bumper accents. This goes in the front as well as in the back. And then we do have the red tow hooks. And while I'm down here, I might as well point out, we do have, of course, with the Trail Boss, you need more off-road capability. So you have a 2-inch lift. It's going to give you more ground clearance, as you can very clearly tell as Mason kind of comes underneath the truck. Now let's take a look up here at the top. We do have a new kind of hood bulge. Especially when you're in the driver's seat, this is really visible as you look out over it. And I do like how it's in the color contrast black. And then I also want to talk about the headlights. Now you'll notice, being a lower end model, these are not premium headlights. They are going to be halogens. They do have a revised shape for 2022. However, they don't have the new daytime running light that some of the higher end models have, but they do have some little carbon fiber looking accents inside of it, full incandescent for all the lighting elements. Now obviously within the Silverado lineup, you have an absolute ton of different wheel choices, but within the specific lineup of custom Trail Boss, you've got two. So it's going to be an 18-inch alloy standard equipment, and then we have the optional 20-inch alloys on this specific example. As you can see, really nice design, full gloss black, which contrasts absolutely beautifully with this truck's glacier blue metallic pink scheme. I love the way this looks. Additionally, of course, you're going to notice we have more rugged tires. These are going to be Goodyear Wrangler tires, all-terrain version, so obviously that's going to give you a little bit more capability off-road. And then up here at the top, Z71 branding once again. The mirrors themselves are not going to really have any premium features, but we do have the blind spot mirror instead of blind spot monitoring.
So let's go ahead and talk about our bed and cab configurations. Now, of course, with any pickup truck, you do have several different options. This custom Trail Boss is going to be pretty much what you're going to see at dealership lots. This is going to be the crew cab with the short bed. That's a very popular configuration. That's what we've seen on pretty much every Silverado that we've tested out so far. I do like that we do have the Trail Boss still here on the side. It gives it a nice look. Also, you can really tell that lift here in the back from how much the tire is away from the body of the truck. Now let's talk about the rear design. Now, honestly, Chevy hasn't done a lot with the rear design in terms of this refresh. They did a lot more up front. They might have tweaked a few elements, but really it's not going to be something that you're going to notice much. That said, it is still an overall good look. So we have Chevrolet stamped into the tailgate. Over here on the side, you're going to look at your taillights. These taillights are pretty much identical to the previous version. They are going to be fully incandescent on this lower end custom Trail Boss model. However, I do like the shaping of them. If we drop down to the lower area, since we do have the Trail Boss, this is all going to be a gloss black finish. I really like the bumper being in this gloss black finish. I also really like that we have the integrated dual exhaust outlets. I really have always loved that touch. Now, as far as your tow rating, I don't have the exact figure for this specific combo, but we will add that in via text box. So let's go ahead and talk about this truck's bed. Now, of course, that's an important part about any truck. So in order to get back here, we just push the little button here. and the tailgate is really nicely dampened. It takes a while to get down. It's very, very dampened. I do also want to point out that you can get the multi-flex tailgate, so you can get all the different configurations and stuff that you see in GMC Sierra products. On this Silverado, this particular model doesn't have it. However, you still do have the side step, which is one of my favorite things. Getting in the back, it just makes it really easy. You have a little hand grab up here. You can just get in there in one fluid motion. If I didn't have a broken knee, I'd get up there and show you. Now, as far as the bed back here, we don't have a liner on this specific model. However, we do still have some lighting on the sides. I see some LED lighting, which is really nice. We also have some lighting up there at the top to look down. And then over here on the right side, we have a household style outlet to keep everything charged up, or if you're tailgating. But let's talk about a big change for this refreshed 2022 Silverado. And I'm very happy about this change too. I'm proactive about my safety systems, and Chevy is including standard forward emergency braking with pedestrian detection, lane keeping assist, as well as auto high beam headlamps on the Silverado lineup. So that is, of course, very nice. You can get adaptive cruise control. You just have to option that on to a high-end trim level like the High Country model. Also, only optional on the High Country is the Super Cruise system, so that's of course a really neat feature to be thrown in on this Silverado for the refreshed model. Now, as far as your warranty is concerned, we're looking at a 3-year 36,000 mile basic warranty, 5-year 60,000 mile powertrain warranty. But guys, that's going to wrap up the refreshed exterior design. Now let's go ahead and hop in the interior, see if there's anything new in there, and then we'll take it out in a spin.
So walking up to our refreshed Silverado, you'll notice we do have the updated key fob. This particular model actually does not have the smart entry system, so you'll still have to push the button to unlock, but we don't have the traditional key anymore in the separated fob. We have the newest design. We also now have remote start, which is standard on the custom trail boss for the first time. And then there is our cabin. You notice I did not say new cabin, and that is because if you choose anything below the LT trim level, Chevy is actually giving you the older design for the interior. So I know some of you guys might be disappointed to know that, but it is definitely worth pointing out. If you choose below that LT trim level, you're not going to get that brand new interior like the other trim levels. Well, let's go ahead and climb inside. As you probably realize by this point, the custom trail boss is all about value and getting the extra performance and styling versus luxury, and that of course is what you're going to get inside of this cabin. So we do have cloth seating on board. It does have a kind of diamond pattern that runs through it. The cloth itself feels high quality and durable, and we do have a stitching detail out here on the side. This is the only color option available. It's just the standard black. However, with the refreshed Silverado, of course, as you may know, when you get up to things like the High Country, for example, you're going to have a much more luxurious experience than before, and you can even get cool color schemes like a blue interior. As we turn over here to our seats, we do have a standard 8-way power adjusting seat with lumbar support. The last custom trail boss we were in had a manual adjusting seat. And as we come up here to our materials, again, it's kind of basic and utilitarian. So we have a rubber padding for the armrest. It's going to be hard touch along the upper part. One touch auto up and down windows for the driver, auto down for the other two, not auto up, 3, excuse me. And across the top here, this is going to be a hard touch plastic with a nice texture to it. As we come down, more of that hard touch plastic run through here, and we do have a silver accent trim that runs through there. Of course, as you can tell, we have the third middle seat. If you have one of the models that have a bench or bucket seat, arrangement, that's going to come with the console that runs through here, and that will also place the shifter in the middle versus having it up there in the column. Nevertheless, instead of using a key with this refresh model, we can push the standard button. Now, like I was already mentioning, with the new style interiors, that's where you're going to get that large reconfigurable digital gauge cluster. If you have one of the lower models, you're going to go for this more traditional look, which has the multi-function display right there in the middle where you can scroll through some basic information. And then as we come back to the steering wheel, of course, it's not going to be leather wrapped on this particular example. We do have some blank spacers and buttons, and the steering wheel itself is going to be manual tilt, but it does not telescope. Off to the side here, we do have an electronic parking brake. We have our headlight controls, as well as our four-wheel drive controls and our towing mode. But of course, this is a truck after all, so we have to have plenty of storage, and over here in the center, again, you're going to find that we do. So this, of course, like I was mentioning, is the middle seat, so you can fold this up, have an extra place for someone to sit, fold it down, and have the traditional console arrangement, which gives you plenty of space to stick coupons. So as you can see, they fit just perfectly fine, no problem whatsoever. We also have our two cup holders built into that little spot here and up there where you can stick your phone. And then all this area is just going to remain completely blank, so you can use this for whatever you want. We also have two USBs. One of those is a Type-C 12-volt outlet and a full household outlet for whatever you need to charge. And then I already explained the shifter situation, but as you can tell, we do have the column-mounted shifter for this example. This is going to remain the same as it was last year. So you're just going to pull down for drive. You can shift manually with these little toggles. And then heading into reverse, we do have a pretty nice looking backup camera. It does have active trajectory as well as the ability to line up a trailer. And I am just going to keep the focus really specifically on this trim level. We, of course, will definitely be sampling one of the higher end models with the full brand new interior as soon as possible, so we can show you guys all the maximum number of features that you can get. But continuing on our tour of this custom Trail Boss, we do have a nice row of buttons here. This is the release for your tailgate. You do have a hill descent control, of course, for off-roading. And we do have a button here for our auto start stop system to turn that off. Up above that, we do have our climate control. As you can see, this is going to be a single zone manual setup. So you just twist that knob there to control the fan speed. You got your zones and everything nicely laid out here. It's super simple. And then above that, we do have our audio system. Now today I am having some Bluetooth issues. I'm not going to be able to give you guys an audio sample because of that. That being said, this would come with the 6-speaker sound system, so that would be a pretty ordinary sounding sound system, nothing too special to write about. You'd have to go to a higher trim level to get the Bose sound system. Alright, let's talk the display. So what is this? This is a 7-inch display. This is going to be standard. And the nice thing about this display is that it has wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay, even though it is the smaller display size, so I'm really happy to see that. Overall, it's just going to be running that typical Chevy MyLink system. I will say, of course, if you get the higher end models, that's going to come with that special design layout. It's going to come with a 13-inch display, and that is going to have the updated infotainment system, which runs on Android Automotive. However, this one is the more classic Chevy Infotainment 3 software. Now up top there, we do have a bin. Of course, you got the manual dimming mirror. We have some gently fading in LED lighting inside of this cabin. And then along the top, we don't have the sunroof. As you can see, there is a nice cutout though to really increase the headroom to be way, way more than anybody of my height would ever need.
Well, come on back here and join me in the rear area of the Silverado. Now, you're not really going to be shook about any changes back here because this is really the Silverado that you're used to seeing. This is the crew cab version, which does mean that we have the largest amount of space that you can get in a Silverado lineup. As far as the legroom, we're looking at 43.4 inches of rear legroom, 40.1 inches of headroom. There is just a lot of space back here, as you would expect out of a full-size pickup truck in its crew cab configuration. But I'm 5'9", Drew's 5'8". As you can see, I have like 1.5 feet of space. And the headroom, honestly, I think the headroom is wrong because there's like 9 foot of it. Now, as far as other things going on at the rear area, this is one of the more basic trim levels of the Silverado, as you've learned throughout this review, so we're not going to have a lot going on. Here in the center, you don't have anything, but we do have vents, which are standard equipment on every single Silverado model. Although I wish they would have mounted them a little bit higher and maybe made them a little bit bigger for something this large. Now, if you go for a higher end model, you will have a fold down center armrest. That's not available on this model. And then looking at your door trim, we do have a hard touch door trim on pretty much all of it. And then we do have quite a bit of bottle storage in the bottom. Now, it's also about having some practicality with that. So let's go ahead and check out how we can configure the seats. If we fold them up, as you can see, it's really easy. You just lift it up and then it locks into place. You have this whole area that you can stick whatever you're gonna need. Plenty of space. Like I said, there's a lot of passenger space. So if you need to haul some bicycles or, I don't know, lawnmower or something in the back, you can totally do that and have it not get wet. Now, your passenger seat is manually adjusting, as you would expect. And here we are in typical Silverado fashion. We got coupon galore. This is coupon heaven right here. We got a 2-part opening glove box here to fit our coupons, and they're not even in there. Here they are. There's another spot to put them. There they are. So you can get your specialty pizza, on sale. You can throw those coupons right in there. You can cut out your individual coupons in this top tier. So lots of space for that. Up top, we have a sun visor. This is a really kind of obnoxiously large sun visor. We have a giant mirror as well. No lighting though. And then we can also detach it as well as extend it out. Nice.
And just like that, 60 miles per hour. So of course, with the custom Trail Boss, as you pretty much expect for a Silverado, we continue to have a wide variety of different engine choices, although we are missing one this year. So what we have for this specific example is the optional 5.3 liter V8. That's making 355 horsepower, 383 pound-feet of torque, just like it always has, and it's a very strong V8 motor. Obviously plenty of power to get this up to 60, as you could tell, quite quickly.
And that is now, this motor is going to be your most powerful option on the custom Trail Boss, because unfortunately, at least right now, they don't have the 6.2 liter V8 as an option. We sampled that out actually not even that long ago for the 2021 model year custom Trail Boss. They added the 6.2, not on the build price anymore, so I'm not sure if they completely got rid of that option or if it's just a chip shortage, but you can't get that right now. That said, you do have the 2.7 liter 4-cylinder that is revised for this refreshed model. It's going to have more power. We're looking at 310 horsepower, 430 pound-feet of torque, and that's really going to be the engine option that you see commonly on these after refresh models, because they're really expanding the availability of that 4-cylinder engine. So maybe we'll get to test that out at some point. Now, in addition to that, you do have a 3-liter turbo diesel as well as an engine option. So you have those 3 options for the custom Trail Boss model.
And you got 2 transmissions. I might as well go ahead and point that out. Most of them are going to come with the 10-speed automatic. However, it is an 8-speed automatic if you choose to stick with that standard 2.7 turbo.
But guys, I do want to, just mention here the ride quality. We're on a super rough patch of road here. We test a lot of our Chevys out here because it's super, super rough. And the custom Trail Boss really does a phenomenal job of just soaking up the bumps. Obviously, this is one of the more off-road trim level focused models, and what that really does is give you some awesome springs to absorb those bumps really, really well. You are going to have a little bit more of a bouncy ride than what you would get out of like a fully loaded model or something, but overall, it's certainly a really good ride quality. I think a lot of you guys are really going to appreciate how well this vehicle rides.
Right, it just kind of takes the harshness out of things.
The V8 growl sounds good though.
Yeah, gotta love that classic V8 growl.
Now, as far as your Slam Dunkin' Airball, we'll go ahead and kick that off. We are in Kentucky. We have a Kentucky blue truck here. I really love the color of this. That's not going to be our slam dunk today, though. I think the slam dunk really has to be the exterior design. They did a good job with it. I really like the updated front end. I like the way that this truck looks overall. I think they could have done more to the rear to maybe just slightly revise it, give some LED taillights or something, but overall I think they did a good job with the look of it.
Yeah, and then on the airball side of things, we have to go in the opposite direction. I'm sure a lot of you guys are disappointed about the interior, that the fact that if you get a lower end model, which is something that a lot of people go for, a version like this that is relatively affordable, has that nice exterior look, but the interior is not the new design, doesn't have any of the new materials, the new technology. I really would have liked to see that expand across the entire lineup.
Now, I do also want to mention your fuel economy. So the Trail Boss is going to be four-wheel drive exclusive. That is going to be, standard equipment for an off-road model like this. And this particular model is coming in at 13 city, 17 highway, 15 combined, with the 5.3 liter. Now, of course, you would get better fuel economy out of the diesel as well as the four-cylinder option. So if you're more fuel economy focused, don't go for the V8. But overall, that's not too bad a fuel economy for a big pickup truck like this. Alright, so as far as our sound level reading is concerned, going 55 miles an hour, we're looking at 59.6 decibels. Keep in mind, this is a rough stretch of road, so I would, if I was personally rating it, I'd knock like 2 decibels off of that, just because this road is very rough, about as rough as it gets. But overall, that's not a bad sound level reading.
I think it sounds quieter than the last custom Trail Boss we drove.
Yeah, it's pretty quiet, impressively so, for a more basic truck like this. And I do also want to talk about your pricing for this refreshed Silverado. Now, if you want a custom Trail Boss like what you see here today in the video, it's going to start at $50,395 for the 2.7 liter engine. If you want the 5.3 liter, $52,090, and then the diesel is going to be the highest end custom Trail Boss at $52,935. And those prices do include destination. We also have a few options on this particular model, as well as the destination charge of $1695. All told, we're looking at $53,830.
But overall, both Mason and I definitely like what Chevy has done with this refreshed Silverado. Of course, this is the model without the new interior. Obviously, that's going to be a big step up based on what we've seen at auto shows, and we look forward to reviewing that, of course, as soon as possible. But in terms of this custom Trail Boss, you really have the right things. This is focused on being more affordable, being more basic, off-road focused, and it does deliver on all those things, all while having some upgrades for 2022, including a very stellar-looking exterior.
Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us on this in-depth review of the refreshed 2022 Chevy Silverado Custom Trail Boss. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, please hit that subscribe button down below. It really helps us out. It gives us better opportunities to show you all better content. So please go ahead and do that. Also follow us on TikTok and Instagram, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.